The San Francisco 49ers are moving on to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl, huh? There's a nice ring to it, does it not? The San Francisco 49ers beat the Lions. Man, I have thoughts, I have feelings, all different kinds of things, as I'm sure you do as well. Obviously, we can talk about some of the stuff that had popped up today, all that good stuff surrounding the San Francisco 49ers as they get prepared for Las Vegas. Woo, you guys already know what to do. Drop an SDS in the chat. Let's talk about it. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. How are we doing today? Today's gonna be more chill, relaxed, kind of just talk about it. As you can see, I'm coming on late. We've been working. I'm off like 3 hours of sleep. I still am having a hard time like wrapping my brain around the reality of what was yesterday. I'm still like keep trying to remind myself, Brad, they won the game. Not only did they win the game, but they're going to the Super Bowl. Like I obviously my brain knows it, but I'm still, am I dreaming? Am I in this fog like state that I just haven't woken up from? Because it feels like just yesterday, all we were doing was arguing about who the quarterback two was for the San Francisco 49ers. And now, we got going to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. Super Bowl. I could just say that. What if my whole stream was just me saying Super Bowl? That's it. You're tuning in. About 45 minutes. Me just Super Bowl. Yep. Super Bowl. Hey, let's see it in the chat. Super Bowl. Drop it in the chat. Super Bowl, baby. Let them know. Let them know. Everyone's been trying to tear us down all year. It's 49ers versus the world. Saying Super Bowl for 24 hours challenge. Yeah, look at that chat. Look at that chat. Let them know where we're going. Let all the haters know where we are going. We to the bowl, baby. We to the bowl. We to the bowl with Brock Purdy. Oh man, some people woke up so upset today. Some people woke up knowing they had to go in front of a national audience and retract all their previous statements to try to save face. Some people were sick this morning that the San Francisco 49ers made it that far. Absolutely sick. And you know what? We're vibing today. So you gone. Goodbye. You out of here just like your Super Bowl hopes. Gone. Never to appear. Was never anything to begin with. Imagine an Eagles fan. Imagine an Eagles fan talking about what what the Chiefs are going to do to a team in the Super Bowl. This is how you know some fans have no brains. This guy is an Eagles fan saying that the Chiefs are what? Gonna do what the Chiefs did to you? They're going to expose us like they did you? These dudes don't even know what they're saying. They're was one of the most down bad fan bases. Eagles fans and Cowboys fans deserve each other. They deserve each other. But yeah, we're vibing, so I don't got no time for trolls today. We're going to the Super Bowl. That's all I care about. Um, man, the 49ers about to have the third youngest starting quarterback start the Super Bowl ever in Brock Purdy. What I love right now is that everyone hates us. It feels like, you know, I think a good judge of like trying to discern kind of the national feeling of certain teams or fan bases or whatever are meme pages. You go to the meme pages because the meme pages, their job is to be relatable. Their job is to be relatable to masses and to multiple, all 32 fan bases of the NFL. And if you go to the meme pages, they are not happy that the 49ers are there. They uh, don't care too craps about Brock Purdy. And I feel like if you're not a 49er fan, that's kind of how you feel. I feel like if you're not a 49er fan, they're low key trying to make us like the Cowboys. You know what I mean? So I think that's a perfect spot to be in because as we've seen, man, this team with their backs against the wall, uh, honestly, I feel like we do so much better when everyone's talking down on us. I feel like that's been the case since 2019. Um I think we have a bunch of guys on the roster. They're all underdogs. George Kittle is an underdog. Fred Warner is an underdog. Brock Purdy is an underdog. Hey, you can even say Trent Williams is an underdog. You might say, Brad, how is Trent Williams an underdog? He's a former first round draft pick. He's an all-world left tackle. He's an underdog because at one point Trent Williams believed he was never going to play football again. He believed that his not only was his career over, but his life was potentially over. So his mentality is that of nothing's guaranteed. You never know when it's going to be taken from you. He has an underdog mentality, and that is crazy. The best offensive lineman to ever play the game has an underdog mentality. Christian McCaffrey, who we consider the best probably offensive player in the league right now, not non-quarterback, has an underdog mentality. He's talked about how important it is for him to stay healthy and how that bugged the crap out of him to be labeled as injury prone. Brandon Ayuk has an underdog mentality. Former community college kid. He had a bunch of wide receivers drafted in front of him in the first round. Debo Samuel. Debo Samuel's got a chip on his shoulder. I mean, you go down the line. We got a lot of guys on this roster who had to fight, earn, scrap, claw for everything that they have. Dre Greenlaw, underdog mentality. Diamador Lenore, underdog mentality. Travarius Ward, undrafted free agent. We got guys who are used to fighting to get what they got. So I think there's a sense of when you feel like you've reached that mountaintop that sometimes maybe you can let up a little bit. And I think that's why this team plays well with a chip on their shoulder. They play well with their backs against the wall. And I've talked about it yesterday. I've talked about it a little bit today. Kyle Shanahan talked about it in the locker room after. He was talking about how we've had talented teams before. Like, let's keep it 100. Like, the 49ers have had many talented teams and players and all these different types of things, but there's something else that is driving this team right now, and it's the intangible qualities. It's the intangible aspects of the game. It's the thing that makes a team a team. And not only do they have those qualities, but they have a chip on their shoulder and they have something to prove. And that makes us dangerous. It makes us dangerous. So I don't really care. I don't really care what's going on the outside. I don't really care what people got to say to us because, in fact, I welcome it. I welcome it. Our fan base has been divided for a while heading into this year. We need something to rally around, bring us back together, and remind everyone that it's 49ers versus the world. Because we were living in a spot where it was 49er fans versus 49er fans, and it was pretty toxic. But right now, what we're living in is 49ers versus the world. We're all together right now. We're all one unit moving forward with a common goal. We don't care about who the quarterback is. We don't care about who the backup quarterback is. We care about winning. And that's a good spot to be in because it hasn't been that way. So as we continue to move forward towards the Super Bowl, we're a dangerous team, guys. I get it. Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs, the big bad wolf knocked us out in 2019. You know, yeah, they got the future GOAT. They got the future GOAT, Patty Mahomes. They got Travis Kelce. You know, they got Isaiah Pacheco. They've got pretty good defense. I guess speaking of Kansas City Chiefs defense, unfortunate news for them today as Charles Omenihu is lost for the season with an ACL tear. Man, what a big loss for them. Shout out to Charles, man. Legit friend of the show, friend of the channel. We had him on the channel for an interview heading into the 2021 season. No, 2022 season. Because he got paid this past offseason by the Chiefs. So we had him on heading into last year. And great dude. He was having a phenomenal season. 11 sacks in 11 games. Charles was balling. So I hate that for him. I can even say I hate that for the Chiefs, man. I think that there's one thing, like, you'll never catch me like that one former tight end for the Packers wishing that someone would take a cheap shot on Brock Purdy to knock him out of the game, and it would be worth the 15-yard penalty. That's just, I don't know. That's not how how I view football. I view football in the sense of give me your best shot, and I'm going to give you my best shot, and that's how we're going to go. Hey, Huffy, appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much, man. Absolutely wild. Don't tell the Raiders though that the 49ers could win a championship in their stadium before they do. My bad. Oh, my guy comes in here giving me a compliment, and I throw a shot. I'm sorry. It's in my DNA, man. It's in my DNA. But shout out my boy Huffy. Oh my gosh, he came in here giving me a compliment. He straight up caught a stray. It's like a trigger. You were trying to be nice, and I appreciate it. It's like it wasn't even a thought. It just happened. It just was like it's like Raiders, boom. Sorry. Old habits die hard. Old habits die hard. I do respect. I will make up for it. I do think the Raiders are actually functioning as a stable organization for once. For once in their life, I think bringing back Pierce, the GM hire I thought was phenomenal. Hey, good job to the Raiders. They're acting like a franchise that, or how a franchise should act. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'm not lying. I like Pierce. I think he's perfect. I think he's perfect for what they're doing. But anyways, back on track. Um I'm still recovering from yesterday. I'm still recovering from yesterday's game. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. My voice definitely hasn't recovered. I think I blacked out for the most of that second half. For sure. It was such an ominous feeling at halftime. I don't know if any of you guys were there. It was really ominous, and especially for me because I had a Lions fan who was probably 4 rows in front of me fall out into the aisle and look like he was having a heart attack while Journey was performing. And I already felt terrible, like, based on the game situation, but the game turned into real life for me very quickly. And it went from, like, being sick about a game to being like, "Oh my gosh, am I gonna watch someone pass away right in front of me?" And it was low key pretty hectic halftime. So, I was down super bad, at about halftime. And it was really hard to watch because, it just was it felt like a helpless moment for multiple reasons, but, again, the guy just, like, we were having a hard time getting him help, and a lot of time had passed by, and so bro, like, it was insane. It like, it was insane. I think I'm still exhausted by it. It was insane. Luckily, he was responsive. When paramedics worked on him for like a solid 10 minutes when they got there. Luckily, he was responsive when they got him out, so that made me feel better. that he was, he was moving and all that stuff. But it was a pretty scary moment. It was freaking ominous, man. And then the 49ers came out and turned it up. And then all of a sudden it was on. I think he was okay. I think he's okay. Like, I really do. For how long he was down and for him to be responsive on the way out, I think he's going to be okay. So that's my hope, at least. I don't know. I would love an update, though. But anyways, after that, man, the 49ers came out and they just turned it on. And you talk about like momentum. I think George Kittle talked about it earlier, and he was talking about the momentum of it and how some people don't believe in momentum in sports. It was funny. He actually asked the question to the media about people not believing in momentum. Um, I don't know. As a player, as a guy who played, I fully believe in momentum in football. And I feel like that game was a perfect display of that for sure. Cheyenne, appreciate the super chat. Says, Brad, I'm so proud of you getting to go to the Super Bowl. You're going for all the SDS. I know you'll make us proud. Not a better time in history to be a part of the SDS. Thank you for all you, Cheyenne. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Always vibing in the chat. I appreciate you, Cheyenne. I just got my media schedule. So on Monday, we're one-on-ones with players. They arrive Sunday. That Monday, we'll be doing one-on-one with players. So it's going to be an experience, man. Crazy. So what is that? Is that a week from now? In a week from now. Yeah, in a week from now, we'll be talking to players. Yeah, so I'll be posting everything. Any content I get, it's going to social, it's going to YouTube, it's going everywhere. I might do lives straight from there. So we'll see. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. I'm looking forward to it all week. And you want to know what added to the ominous feeling of that halftime? And one of the things that I was thinking about was, I wanted to book my trip to Vegas because I was going to Vegas no matter what. Win or lose. Obviously, I wanted the 49ers to go. But so I'm like, well, I don't want to get gouged either. So I want to buy and plan my trip before the teams punch their ticket, and then you get a massive like rush and the prices skyrocket. So I had to make a decision on my confidence in the 49ers advancing. I had to decide if I was going to fly out on Saturday or fly out on Monday after the Super Bowl. Did I want to stay Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with the chance that the 49ers weren't going to the Super Bowl and just be in Vegas for an extra 3 days, which sounds does not sound like fun to me, to be honest, after already being there for a week. But I had to make the decision. And day before the game, I booked my whole trip all the way through Monday. I said, "You know what? The 49ers are going to the Super Bowl, and I'm going to that game one way or another. I don't know how yet. I really don't, but I'm going to that game, and it's going to be Niners, whoever." And I booked it. So now I'm locked in. I'm there till Monday. And obviously Super Bowl Sunday. And so, man, I am absolutely looking forward to see. Um no, so someone said you don't get tickets with press. It's it's actually pretty challenging to get press passes to the game. So I'm credentialed for for the week of the media week. Um, so we'll see. I'm trying one other thing, um, but there's a good chance I might just be buying a ticket, which hurts my heart because I know you guys know how much those tickets are. But I can't wait. How much are the tickets? You don't want to know. They're ridiculous. They're unbelievable. But I'm already out there. Once in a lifetime experience, right? So I got to figure it out somewhere or the other. Um, got to figure it out one way or the other. Um, but anyways, that was part of my mindset at halftime, right? I was like, oh, I booked through Monday. I booked through Monday. We're cooked. It's what was it? Was it 24/7 at the time? And it was 24/7. I was like, "Oh my gosh." I really did believe that it was going to take a miracle for the 49ers to win that game. So the fact that we're sitting here um talking about going to the Super Bowl is crazy. It's crazy because, man, it really did feel like our backs were against the ropes and it was going to be extremely challenging to get to that place. And the fact that they did it, the fact that they won that game, unbelievable, man. So, although the 49ers can scare us on one hand and really make us lose our minds a little bit, they also have this ability to get it done when no one else thinks that's possible. So, listen, we got a tough task against Kansas City. Regardless of, the struggles that they had in the regular season, they're a team that's built for this. They're built for the playoffs. They've what? Patrick Mahomes has played in the AFC Championship game every single uh year he started. Like this isn't new. Super Bowl week? Oh yeah, we're back. That's They're not tripping off that. There's no pressure. They've been there. They've done that. Thankfully, some 49ers players have that experience, so not everyone's going to be super raw heading into that situation. But man, they do have a leg up in that regard. They do. Am I confident that the refs will call a fair game, or will they look to solidify Mahomes as the new face of the NFL? Mahomes is already the face of the NFL. Mahomes is already the face of the NFL, but Um, they ha- eh, hey, refs are gonna ref, man. I don't trust no one. So I don't trust refs at all. Um, I think they're an influenced bunch. I think when you have that amount of money on the line, it's really hard not to be influenced, whether they would admit it or not. Now, I don't know what that means, if that's for Kansas City or if it's for Brock. From what I've heard so far, the early money is on Kansas City, which isn't a surprise. I do think the 49ers are favorites. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a big betting guy, so I I'm admittedly, you know, I'm still kind of like figuring all that stuff out and how it really works, but I think the 49ers are like 2-point favorites if I'm not mistaken, or they opened as 2-point favorites. And then if you put all the money on the Kansas City Chiefs, then you have a more ability to make profit, right? You have more like that to me isn't a benefit for the 49ers. Uh so I think that's concerning. The fact that they're a favorite. The Chiefs are coming in as the underdog. All the early money is on the Chiefs. So 49ers versus the world, baby. 49ers versus the casinos. 49ers versus the refs. That's what I'm saying, man. 49ers versus the world. That's really the mentality. So am I confident? No, I'm not confident, but hey, that's why it's we're dealing with a different beast here. They got to be able to lock in, block everything out. And this 49ers versus the world, man. Like, hey, they have to, if you really think about it, they kind of got to block themselves out from us. Man, if you were on Twitter during that first half, oh man, you would have believed that everyone was getting fired. And I wasn't even on Twitter that much because I was clearly at the game. But every time I popped on, whoo, people were not happy. And I get it because that first half was not at all what we had anticipated. I think I think one of the big things that we talked about all week, what in like game planning against the Detroit Lions, was containing the edges. I literally think that was like we had like a handful of point of emphases against the Detroit Lions, and like the number one thing we said was edge contain. We're like, that's it. Funnel everything back inside. What happened the first drive? Oh, out to the edge, in the flat, out to the edge, end around, out to the edge, Jameson Williams around the outside, up. I'm like, what? What? I was like, man, so much for that plan. We had a really difficult, and I think that's where we missed Cleveland Farrell. Cleveland Farrell didn't get a lot of credit this year because he didn't rack up sack production, but he's a force in the run game. That's where Cleveland Farrell makes his money. He is a really quality run defender on the edge. He's not going to be your prototypical pass rusher, but he's a exceptional run setting edge. And without that, I think we're kind of seeing some of those issues. So I haven't watched the tape yet. So I'm gonna reserve my actual hot opinions on the game because I need to watch it back. I'll probably do that tonight. We'll probably do a film breakdown tomorrow. Today's been insane, just super busy. It's crazy when all the content is about your team, you know? There's just so much stuff flying at us from so many different angles. So many different angles right now. And then I'm gonna get off live, and guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do some more work. Today's gonna be like a 16-hour day for sure, off like 3 hours of sleep. But I am not complaining. Yes, I think I'm gonna have. I do want to do defense this week too. I mean, we got 2 weeks. We got time. We can do offense, defense. We can do Chiefs film breakdowns. Um, at least this week. Obviously, next week's going to be a lot more challenging. But we can get some stuff. We can get some stuff in today to try to really figure it out. I'm gonna leave. What other points? What other things do you guys want to talk about from this game? Did I get confetti and put it in a box and display it? Kinda. I have like this. This is like, wow. Brad has a jar of rocks on his desk. I got the confetti in here. Like why does Brad have a jar of rocks on his desk? This is actually all glass. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Glass Beach in Fort Bragg. So it's literally an old dumping ground for an like a glass bottle manufacturer. So the whole beach is literally glass. It's just glass. Like, so this is all glass. This isn't rocks. This is glass. Oh, there's a couple rocks, but it's mostly glass. So that's just there. So I just dropped it in there. It's like, I'll just sprinkle it in on top. I tried to grab more confetti, but it was all wet. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Not doing that. Film breakdown equals closing the office door and putting up my in a meeting with Brad sign. I love that sign. That was so good. That was honestly one of my favorites. Talk about special teams. Special teams. I'm proud of Jake Moody. I'm proud of him. I'm not proud of him missing a field goal, but I am proud of him bouncing back. That's what I'm proud of. And again, when it comes to a kicker, that's the most volatile place to be. To miss a kick and early in a game you're already down, and then to come back and nail 2 and then you win by 3, like, you got to give a little bit of credit to Jake, man. You got to give a little bit of credit to Jake for getting that done. Appreciate the super sticker, Connie. Thank you so much. Thank you for contributing to the Las Vegas Fund. We really do appreciate you. All these super chats will be contributing to the Las Vegas Fund. We appreciate you and your contributions to me spending my life savings to go watch the 49ers. We appreciate it. So again, I think part of it is with Moody is he's volatile, but he's bouncing back. That's again, think of that whole first half. The whole first half was volatile. Everyone was. Offense, defense, special teams. So we can't just totally isolate Moody and be like, "Oh, Moody," because the whole team was that way. Brock Purdy threw an interception. They gave up you know, early touchdowns on defense early and often. All three phases struggled, man. All three phases struggled. It wasn't just Moody. So again, when it mattered and he had to step up and he had to make the kick, he did it. So he deserves credit for that. Now, he also deserves credit for giving me a heart attack in the first half. He gets credit for that as well. He gets credit for that as well. For really contributing to the vibes, not being great early on, but he also deserves credit for contributing to the vibes being great at the end. So that's why football is nuanced. We can't just pick and choose what we want to be angry about. Yes, we want him to make all his kicks, but he made the kicks that he needed to make when they mattered most, and that ultimately impacted the game at the end. So I'll take it. I'll take it. Hey, and that's what we signed up for when we got the rookie. We knew it was coming. We talked about it the day he was drafted. The amount of pressure that puts on a rookie is insanely huge because he's expected to be the GOAT, not just a kicker. He's not just an undrafted free agent, that's like, oh, he's pretty good kicker for undrafted free agent. There's a completely different expectation, perception, and pressure that comes along with where he was drafted. Obviously, the 49ers knew that, but that's part of it. That's part of it. I saw a comment from where'd it go? I think it was talking about how one of our matchups that we identified, I think it was Justin. One of the matchups we wanted to see was Diamador Lenore on Amon-Ra St. Brown. So from what I've seen, I didn't see Diamador give up too much. So if anything, but again, like I said, I haven't watched the tape back and I haven't done a rewatch yet. So I'm just kind of basing it off. Hey, let's go. Shout out Julian. Super Bowl bound fun. Let's go. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Shout out Julian. Glenn says, Brad, quick question. Why is the media saying that 51-yard pass to Ayuk would have been intercepted when the ref threw the flag? So even if Ayuk didn't catch it, would have been pass interference. Yeah, 100%. At least from what I saw. Like, I saw Ayuk have to create contact through the DB, which affects timing, affects placement. So, yeah, I mean, that was one of the more egregious pass interferences that I've seen. I know they picked it up, but he caught it. So, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know why they picked it up. From my vantage point, it absolutely looked like Ayuk ran into the back of the DB before. I don't know if the thought process was of the ref. They were both looking at the ball. They were both making a play on the ball. Contact was incidental. You could maybe make that the case, but I think the fact of the matter is that the contact impeded Ayuk from being where he needed to be, which would have put the ball on the money. So that's That's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as there was contact that obviously affected Ayuk's placement. It affected where the ball should be and where he should be. And ultimately, Brandon Ayuk makes the catch of his life. Are we like, do we consider that the catch four? I think it has to be. I think it has to be. I mean, that catch shifted the whole momentum in that game. It shifted the whole momentum in that game. It had to. That was a huge moment. And I love that Kyle talked about it after the game. I know you guys probably seen um the locker room sound. Um and hearing Kyle be like, "Man, when we got the ball out of halftime and we drove down the field and we only kicked a field goal," he was like, "All right, I'm a little nervous." I was like, "Oh, I'm like, I love hearing Kyle say that because it makes me feel less crazy about myself. Because when they got the ball and they drove down and they stalled and kicked the field goal, I was like, that's not good. I was like, that's not what we want. Like, I was like, it's like, man, we really needed to score out of halftime. We needed to get that momentum back. And oh, I felt sick. I love that Kyle was like, yeah, that wasn't great. I was like, oh well, I'm glad we both feel the same. Um so man, then I mean, you got to shout out the 49ers defense. For the 49ers defense to shut out the Lions in the third quarter and for the 49ers to score 17 unanswered in the third quarter, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Because what was it? It was field goal. It was field goal and then to shut up, Steven. It was field goal. They ran 8 plays for 47 yards and then they they went for it. They went for it. That's right. They went for it on 4th and 2 and got stopped. This is and again, this is where the momentum started to turn. We drive down and kick a field goal, not ideal, right? They get a first play of their drive is a 16-yard completion, first down to Laporta. Then 6 yards to Montgomery. And then they get we get a neutral zone infraction on Hargrave, automatic first down with the penalty yardage. Then it's Montgomery, 7 yards. Then Montgomery, 5 yards, another first down. So like at this point, we're like, oh my gosh, we didn't score out of half. We didn't score out of half, and now they're driving on us. And then it went 1st and 10, incomplete, 2nd and 10 for 6 yards, over to Amon-Ra St. Brown for 2 yards on a 3rd and 4, and then an incomplete pass to Josh Reynolds on 4th and 2, 49ers ball. The fact that I mean, Dan Campbell's aggressiveness legitimately worked against him in this game because they turn the ball over, they give it to us, and they were in I'm pretty sure they were in scoring position. I think they could have kicked a field goal, from my understanding. And then that's where we had the Brock Purdy, the pass to Brandon Ayuk. And then we get the Brandon Ayuk touchdown. Then on the next drive, first play, fumble. Next drive for the 49ers, 4 plays, touchdown. Then Detroit Lions punt. Then an 11-play, 65-yard drive, 7 minutes off the clock, ends in a field goal. And then they have a turnover on 4th down again. And then the 49ers score a touchdown. I mean, you talk about stealing momentum and getting a break from the Lions going in on 4th, and then the defense stopping them both times. That was huge. That was huge, and it just kept shifting, and then they went on that 11-play, 75-yard touchdown drive at the end, made it a little like, "Oh, please. Please just get the onside kick. Let us get out of here." But, yeah, man. J Fig says, "MV Purdy." Yeah, you guys hear Ryan Clark today? Ryan Clark said that Brock Purdy passed Justin Herbert. Oh, the difference that a week makes, Mr. Ryan Clark. You went from saying effectively that Brock Purdy is dog water and that you were fronting the whole time to now he's better than Herbert because he had a second half comeback. You see how that works? You see how unserious these people are? It's so unserious. And I listen, I had nothing wrong with what Ryan Clark said. He said a lot of nice things about Brock, but it's like it's coming from him. It's so shallow. It's so shallow. There's no weight behind it. There's no meaning to it. He discredited anything that he had to say about Brock last week. He went into that game saying it was going to be Jared Goff that was going to have the better game. Jared Goff was going to be the guy. He not only did he reveal himself and his thoughts with Purdy, he doubled down on them before the game. And then after the game, oh, he's better than Herbert now. Like, shut up, man. Like, this is why I can sympathize with a sense of like understanding that they have to be very opinionated. Like, that's the way that their show works. Like, I get it. And they're going to piss someone off by having a strong opinion. So I understand the element of it. But if you go and you say things that you don't mean, and then when it's time to mean it, you say what you mean, and then you're back to switching up again, it's like, well, now we can't. Now your opinion is not even worth getting upset about, or like being like, oh, that Ryan Clark. Like now it's like, yeah, what do you expect? That's Ryan Clark. Like, whatever. Richard Sherman's doing phenomenal work. Richard Sherman, RG3, guys like JT O'Sullivan, Chase Daniel, Kurt Warner, Steve Young. I'm trying to think of guys who are consistently out there talking ball who do a phenomenal job at it. There's a bunch. There's a bunch for sure. Acho's been putting his respect on Purdy. He has. Michael Vick, Pat McAfee. Yeah. Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. So I think, like I told you guys, man, it was like the same thing when I went into training camp. It would have been so easy to there was so much momentum for like Trey Lance on the social media streets. It would have been so easy for me to bend the knee to engagement and be like, you know what? I'm going to look beyond my eyeballs as a football evaluator and I'm going to bend my knee to the engagement mob. And I just didn't. I didn't want to do that. I told you guys that at the very beginning. I said, I really want to test my ability to evaluate football and evaluate the quarterback position. So we're going into training camp. We have 3 quarterbacks to evaluate, and we're going to evaluate them down the middle with no priors, no nothing. Fresh start, fresh everything. And that's what happened. And I believe that because of that, I was able to land on the correct path. Not the path that got me the most engagement. No, I was called a racist for objectively evaluating Brock Purdy in training camp. But I stayed on the path that my eyes told me to. I I looked beyond the trash talk that I was getting, the all the crazy shit that was said to me. I just was like, I'm just going to talk about what I'm talking about, and that's football, and that's evaluation, and that's what I'm going to do. One way or the other, wrong, right, indifferent. How I see it is how I'm going to report it. And that's exactly what I did. And it wasn't popular because it wasn't popular for whatever reason to say, oh, you know what? The training camp interceptions that people are toting around and spinning negative narratives were actually sacks. And they were literally like the first I can't wait till we get to this portion of the off season. So I'm just going to give you a little nugget. The first negative Brock Purdy interception that got spun negatively against him was a sack. Was a instant sack. Hargrave beat whoever was in front of him, like literally swim, and he was in Brock's face, and Brock just went. It was a dead play. He was done. Dead in the water, instant sack, whistles blown. Brock just flings it. The defense takes it, pick 6. What do you hear? Brock Purdy threw a pick 6 in training camp. Uh-oh. What? So I did not. So like I could see it. I could see it all. I could see all the spin. I could see all the people who can evaluate and people who can't. It's very easy to see. It's very easy to see because as you guys know, there are people who get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to evaluate talent, and they still get it wrong. Evaluation is very difficult. Football, individual evaluation is not easy. So it's very but because it's not easy, it's very easy to determine who knows and who doesn't know. It's very easy. They stick out like a sore thumb. You can tell who's really able to evaluate at that level and who cannot. And that's part of the evaluation. You have to be able to evaluate who can evaluate. And so that's like the same thing with all this conversation around Brock. You have people who aren't evaluating. You have people like Amy Trask just saying things. Like I have a ton of respect for Amy Trask. I really do. I know a lot of people don't like her right now because her take was wild. And it was very disrespectful. But I also can sit here and say objectively that she's probably not evaluating. she's a casual observer. And when I say casual observer, she's not breaking down tape. She's not she's probably not learning the ins and outs of you know, specific techniques and those different types of things. And even so, like learning about those techniques, you have to understand how they're functionally implemented and how they're developed. You don't just learn that. Like that's something that takes a lot of time to develop and track and all those things. So listen, that's it. It's just we live in a world where everyone has an ability to have an opinion. Um and that's fine. It's great, but it also provides us with a lot of noise. And so I find myself being in this position to weed through it. And, I feel like it's almost like not that it was meant to be this way, but it's kind of turned into this. It's like, man, I want you guys as 49er fans who love this team to have the best information possible. I want you guys to feel like I'm not here to twist your ear to just make you believe something because I believe it. It's like, no, if I believe something, I want to try to be able to show you with reference, with tape, with like, this is how I'm seeing it. And of course, just because I'm seeing it that way too doesn't mean I'm always right. I'm not. I've been wrong multiple times because evaluation is hard. So I just feel like when we get caught in these conversations about people giving opinions, I think of like what Kyle Juszczyk said today. Kyle Juszczyk went on the Pat McAfee show, and what did he say? He said, "You're either not watching or you don't know ball." Sound familiar? So that's just kind of where we're at right now. So all the talk, everything that we hear about Brock, it comes from two places. If it's a negative, basically connotation, it's either they don't know ball or they aren't watching. It's that simple. And that's also too not saying that Brock Purdy is Patrick Mahomes. He'll never be Patrick Mahomes. And that's the problem that these people freaking have is that, oh, well, look at Patrick Mahomes. Brock Purdy can't do that. No shit, he can't do that. He'll never be able to do that. He's not a guy who's going to lay out like no, he will lay out 90 degrees, but like the ball's not going to travel 70 yards through the air. That's not who Brock is. Brock wins his way. Brock wins exactly how he tells us he wins. He wins with his mind. He wins with being an elite processor. He wins by understanding the game, understanding the defenses, trusting his eyes, trusting his players, trusting the scheme, and elevating it. And then elevating everyone else around him. He's not a one read, I'm going to run for 50 yards. That's just not who he is. He'll never be Josh Allen. He'll never be that guy where he's just like one read. Oh, it's not there. Two. Oh, it's not there. Let's run. John sets. This is a challenge. My DMs right now are daunting. So where did you message me? I probably got hundreds of messages and DMs yesterday. I haven't even been able to sit down and attempt to look at them. So what platform did you I'm assuming you hit me up on Facebook? If you hit me up on Facebook, that's probably the worst way to try to get a hold of me, but if that's where you hit me up, I'll try to remember. Another challenge, but I'll try. I'll try my best. Let me even. I might have to do it right now, or else I'll forget. Oh, I do not. I have to install Messenger to look at my messages. See, that's how. That's how I don't even have Messenger. I can't even look at messages on my phone. Is there other way? Probably personal Instagram. I don't check those messages, but I know I don't get a lot of messages to like my work Instagram. So if I were to go look, I would see it. Where if you DM'd me on Instagram, you would be buried. Like my Instagram is nothing but unread messages right now. It's very intimidating. It's very intimidating. I think that's one of the things that I've learned that like totally hits on my ADHD. It's just like, oh, I just realized I haven't got through all my super chats. My bad, guys. I'm over here ranting. I didn't even get through the super chats. Pick up because Flag DB had the right to fight. Oh, this was about the Brandon Ayuk challenging the ball and being able to why they picked up the flag. That was my assumption, is that DB was fighting for the ball and they deemed it incidental contact. They're both making a play on the ball. Luke says, I live vicariously through you. Thanks for the content this year, Brad. Well, thank you, Luke. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel. Thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. I guess we're gonna all be I'm gonna be living vicariously through myself at the Super Bowl next week. That's gonna be wild. That's gonna be wild. Pet Will says, Brad, kindly put this towers your spearmint rhino. Oh, put this towards your spearmint rhino fund. Great content here. Spearmint rhino. I'm intrigued by that. Not sure I know exactly what the spearmint rhino represents, but I appreciate it. And thank you very much. Chili says, Super Bowl fun. This calls for a pregnancy story. No pregnancy stories. No pregnancy stories. No, not today. Oh, gosh. That's hilarious. How many unread emails do I have? Well, first of all, I have one email account that is out of storage. So I don't receive emails on it anymore because I'm literally out of storage. So that gives you on one email, I have 32,000 unread emails. On my work email, I have 3,500 unread emails. Yeah. Not the best. Have I seen the vid of your pops on Twitter? I have not. Would you rather we saw the Ravens? I kind of wanted to see the Ravens again. I'm not going to lie. I didn't want to see the Ravens again. I absolutely did. So, Kansas City, like that's the thing. It's like Kansas City, they have that intangible thing too, you know? They have that intangible quality. They have that quality of, yeah, everything can be going wrong and they could still win the game. They have that quality. So that's why I felt like the Ravens were more beatable because they beat us in a real fluky way. And I just felt like we would have a much better shot at the Ravens. Um, yeah, I wanted the Ravens. I'm not gonna lie. Spe- Come on now, family show, family show. Spearmint Rhino. What a name! What a name! I guess it's a good thing that I don't know what that is. Who is Young getting benched for? I see. I gotta watch the tape. I had some issues with Chase Young, um, not setting edge contain, but I've seen that video of him on the Jamison Williams touchdown, kind of half-assing it. So I'm very intrigued uh to watch him more. I didn't watch the defensive tape last week. I didn't watch, so I'm gonna try to watch it. I'm gonna try to watch it this week. Uh, see what all the fuss is about. I see a lot of people upset about him. So, and I was upset about him, but I was more upset because he wasn't containing the edge, the thing that we talked about. So that was more of the issue than I had than anything else. Kyle said edge is DB's responsibility in the wide nine. That's interesting. I didn't know that. That's dangerous to me, though. Your edges set the that or your DB set the edge in the wide nine. I mean, I feel like that makes sense if I feel like that makes sense with like Demo and stuff like that because he's a physical player. I don't know. We shall see. But anyways, so we'll do film breakdown tomorrow. We'll do offense. So I got to stay up late watching film tonight. So that's what we'll do for our live tomorrow. We'll do film breakdown of the offense, and then we'll do defense. I'll try to do defense on Wednesday, and we'll keep cooking all that. Oh, my boy. Go live that dream and see your team in person, brother. All love, proud of you. JD, my boy, pod boy. Appreciate you, man. That's awesome. Dude, crazy, man. Crazy. Crazy. Headed to the Super Bowl. Whoo! Wild. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. But man, going to be a wild, wild ride. I need some sleep, but that's not happening anytime soon. So what'll end up happening is I'll just be sleep deprived for the next 3 weeks, and then try to take a long nap once the season has kind of come to an end, and what a year it's been, man. What a year. Whew. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's almost over. That's the crazy part about it, is I can't believe it's like there were moments when I was like, "Oh my gosh, the season's over." That's crazy. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Oh, that's cool. Good morning from Berlin. 5:20 a.m. Sheesh. That's insane. I am not a morning person. Not a morning person at all. I had to force myself out of bed this morning, and it was so painful. But shout out to everyone. Appreciate all you guys, man. Shout out to everyone who sent a super chat and donated to the Super Bowl fund. I appreciate you guys so much. Appreciate all you guys rocking with us all year. Man, excited to see what content's going to look like next week. We got a crazy one, man. Two guaranteed weeks left. 2 guaranteed weeks left. And ain't no worrying about elimination at this point. It's either ring or nothing. Super Bowl or bust, and we made it. Now we got to go win the damn thing. So 2 weeks guaranteed. 2 weeks guaranteed. And hopefully after that we're doing parade. That's the hope. That's the hope. Parade. Whoo! Man, that just got me pumped. That got me pumped. But I appreciate all you guys as always. Hey, man, my guy says, I wish I had money so I could send you to the bowl, Brad. Man, listen, you guys watching my videos, liking my videos, sharing videos, trust me, you're helping. Watching this live, you're helping. So, hey, if you can't send directly through Super Chat, that's fine. I appreciate everyone who sends through Super Chat. Definitely super helpful. But also you guys just watching, supporting, that is also very helpful. So thank you to all of you guys who watch all the videos, like all the videos, comment on all the videos. I really do appreciate it. And they already know. They know what's coming. Grab your cookies, everyone. Appreciate all you guys. Y'all are the best. Super Bowl cookies this week. Super Bowl cookies hit a little different. They taste a little different. Got a little more flavor, a little bit more chocolatey flavor to it. Love it. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll break down the offense. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. This is how tired I am. I forgot to exit out the live. So I'm just going to exit now. I'm not playing the outro again. I'm like, oh, wait. I have to hit the end of the live button. That's one thing you have to do when you're done. So bye. Goodbye. Bye.